All right, I think we're ready to go. Welcome this evening. We're going to go ahead and start with our Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd like to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, again, welcome and thank you for joining us. At this point, we're going to have the land acknowledgement read to us by Director Gronwald.
Evergreen Public Schools resides on the traditional lands of the Chinookan peoples and the Cowlitz tribe. They have lived on and cared for this land and its waterways since time immemorial. We thank them for their stewardship and make this acknowledgement to open a space of recognition, inclusion, and respect for all Indigenous students, families, and staff in our community.
Thank you, Jenny. All right, next on the agenda is to adopt this evening's agenda. We'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move adoption of this evening's agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Director Perkins and Gronwald. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right, next is special recognition. And first, we have introduction of new administrators. I believe we're calling up Janae first.
I think Bobby Height is going to make the first introduction.
Okay, Bobby. Go ahead and come on up.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for having us here. We are so excited to introduce Talina O'Daniel to our new principal leadership position at BBC. She got her bachelor's at University of Hawaii and her master's in special education as well. Grew up on the island of Kauai before coming to the United States, before coming to the mainland. She was a principal, she was a teacher, a TOSA, an associate principal. She then came to the mainland and spent 4 years in a program administrative position and a principal, and then she spent 3 years in Gresham Barlow before coming to BBC. And a fun fact about Talina is she has 3 mini pigs, and they have a TikTok account. And so just plugging the TikTok account right now to get a few more followers for Talina's mini pigs. So welcome, Talina.
Thank you.
Welcome.
What is the name of the TikTok account?
Thank you, Superintendent Boyd and the Evergreen Board. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to many years of service to the BBC community. Great.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What is the name of the TikTok account?
Oh, it's the 3 mini pigs in Sandy.
Oh, good. I bet the kids will love that.
All right, I think I have the next 2 introductions. The first introduction I want to make, and if Ellen Wiesner and Dr. Kimberly Armstrong could begin coming forward. The first introduction I'm going to do is I'm pleased to introduce Ellen Wiesner, our interim Senior Director of Special Services, replacing Matt Hill. Ellen has an impressive track record with over 15 years of experience as a special education administrator at Battleground Public Schools. She served as an executive director from 2017 until accepting her position with us. Ever since joining our team, Ellen has been proactive in establishing connections, developing her team, evaluating our current procedures and program resources. Her expertise and extensive knowledge in special education, assessment, and inclusive school programming have already proven valuable assets to EPS. We're thrilled to have Ellen on our leadership team.
So yes, thank you, Superintendent Boyd, and thank you, school board members. I am very excited to be here. I'm excited about this opportunity, and I really look forward to working here with you all this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have 3 pigs or anything like that.
You have a cat?
You have a cat. Not anymore.
Oh, okay, we'll keep you anyway.
Thank you. Ellen has just been an outstanding addition to our team, organizing our special education program. So welcome, and we're so happy to have you. I'm extremely happy to introduce Dr. Kimberly Armstrong, our new Deputy Superintendent of Teaching, Learning, and Equity, who the board will formally approve on the consent agenda this evening. Dr. Armstrong will fill the opening left by Dr. Charlene Williams, who departed in July to become the Oregon Department of Education Director. We brought in a strong group of finalists for interviews in August, and I extended the offer to Dr. Armstrong in September. Dr. Armstrong began her career as a public school teacher. She served as a junior high school building principal. She has experience as an assistant superintendent and an associate superintendent in California, and also served as the director of equity and public relations in Washington's Edmonds School District, with her most recent position as chief academic officer for Portland Public Schools. We stole her across the river here. Dr. Armstrong has an extensive history of providing leadership, vision, and strategic direction for curriculum instruction, assessment, and school support initiatives to increase academic achievement while fostering a culture of belonging. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Armstrong to our team.
Good evening, Board Chair, Director, Student Advisor, Superintendent Boyd. I am excited to be here. Thank you. I was so inspired after meeting Superintendent Boyd and hearing about his vision for success and belonging for all. And so I am here to be a part of the team to help raise achievement across the city. I've moved into the area and I am all in and excited, and just want to say thank you for this opportunity to serve alongside the folks of Evergreen. So thank you.
Welcome here.
Glad you're welcome.
Thank you. And a not so fun fact about Dr. Armstrong, she's a huge 49ers fan.
Oh,
So, but we'll accept her anyway.
it's okay.
That's
Even
good.
from all those years of living in Seattle, huh? All right, good stuff, thank you. All right, next up is public comments. At this time, any community member. Oh, more special recognition. I'm sorry, Craig. Come on up.
So what I'm presenting here is our district's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration video that the board has asked us to do these celebration videos. This is what we did is we connected with staff and students and asked them what Hispanic Heritage Month means to them. And this is going to be both English and Spanish, so you'll have to read a little bit depending on which language you can understand. Here we go.
Lo único que hacemos es mantener las costumbres y los valores. Más que todo, lo que hacemos nosotros es hacer diferentes tipos de comida, pues, de Latinoamérica, y es todo lo que hacemos. Yo creo que es importante porque mantiene la comunidad hispana viva, con todas las costumbres y los valores, y también ayuda a combinar esas culturas con otras culturas y para mantener todo vivo.
Nos da un sentido de pertenencia, somos parte de la comunidad, somos parte de todo el distrito, de nuestras escuelas y de la familia, de las familias con las que estamos con los niños. Somos parte de todo, no solamente del mundo, pero de nuestra comunidad. Así que es importante porque nos hace sentir que somos parte de la familia.
Well, recently we just celebrated Mexican Independence Day and we got to eat our traditional Mexican food and we got to dress up in our beautiful Mexican clothes. I think it's important because we need to celebrate our family's history, our background, and it's important, and I'm very proud and I'm very grateful that I was born into a Mexican family. So.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Christopher Sánchez y soy de la escuela Image Elementary, y para mí la herencia hispana significa algo muy importante y que es una raza muy fuerte y que algo muy importante en mi vida que me han dado mis padres. Me encanta tener raíces hispanas porque tienen tradiciones y costumbres únicas del mundo. Su comida, gastronomía es muy deliciosa. Me encanta comer los tamales y el mole y muchos más. También las tradiciones como el Día de los Muertos y los bailes tradicionales. Yo pienso que esta cultura no debemos perderla y hablar de ella siempre que podamos. Y nunca olvidarnos de ella, la herencia hispana, y viva México, y a todos los países que la representan.
Se siente especial que se está haciendo algo para nuestra raza, que somos incluidos en lo que es las culturas. Tener un mes que está especialmente para celebrar nuestra herencia es muy importante para nuestros hijos, nuestra familia, saber que tenemos un valor también en medio de la sociedad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig. All right, now it is time for public comments. So any community member wishing to address the board may do so during the designated time on the agenda for public comments. Comments are to be directed to the board of directors as a whole and may not be addressed to any individual member of the board, the administrative staff, or the audience. Although the board will not engage in dialogue, the board chair may ask a speaker a clarifying question or follow up at a later time on an issue raised during public comment. There is a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. No mechanism where speaker can donate some or some of their time to another speaker. And no individual may speak more than once per regular meeting, even if there's time remaining. And then please state your name and district affiliation, if any. And first up, we have Camille Lohman. If you want to go ahead and come on up. Camille? There was nobody online, correct? Okay.
I haven't seen Camille.
Camille's not present right now?
I haven't seen her tonight, no.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to Gary Wilson. Gary, if you want to go ahead and come on up. Hi, Gary.
How you doing? September 12th, the first 12 people and a few of them after all spoke on two common issues: the need for more classroom support and teacher and student safety. At the end of the meeting, during board comments, you guys said you were going to make some decisions about what you heard. Then September 26th, I was a little surprised that nothing was on the agenda about it. There were several more public comments addressing similar concerns. And at the end of the board meeting, you guys said, well, we're going to start a committee and it's going to take, sounded like 3 or 4 months to put it together. You're going to 30 or 40 people. So again, it just seems like things just don't happen the way, or things don't get resolved as quickly as they could be. Just as a member of the community, it's just kind of frustrating when people come up and share concerns that are right now, and they just continue to be put off and put off. So just as a board member, I would want to address those as soon as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Gary. All right, next up is Jennifer Hanna. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening. My name is Jennifer Hanna. I'm the librarian at Emerald Elementary. I am here tonight on behalf of elementary instructional coaches, specialists, who are your librarians, music, and PE teachers across our 22 buildings. We have been told we do not have a substitute teacher shortage in our district, yet we as a cohort have stepped into the general education classroom to cover unfilled positions on a rotating basis for the past several years, resulting in students missing their guaranteed, viable library, music, PE instruction, and curriculum. On days when they are pulled into a classroom, our coaches are not able to support administrators, teachers, or students in our schools. Since the last board meeting, this is the data collected from that cohort who, due to staff absences and a lack of substitutes to fill those openings, did not get to support staff and students or instruct the subjects which they have specific training and advanced certification. 12 unfilled absences required coverage, resulting in 31 specialist sections of 30 minutes each being canceled. Students missed out on the following instructional minutes in our specialized subject areas due to this coverage: 480 minutes of library, 330 minutes of music, 120 minutes of PE. A total of 930 missed instructional minutes in specialist classes since the last school board meeting is that total. Here are some comments from those that were impacted, including some of the challenges, lost opportunities, or curriculum our students missed or that staff missed planning for those students. Number 1, missed meetings and canceled teacher coaching. Number 2, missed planning and fell behind with the media assistant job I have absorbed. Number 3, library classes missed keyboarding lessons and book checkout for the week. Number 4, due to a previously scheduled assembly and now classroom coverage, one of my music classes had 0 instruction this week and is a full week behind the rest of their grade level classes. Another class that had been looking forward to playing instruments did not get that chance. And this is the third, number 5. This is the third time we've had an unfilled absence that was not covered by our assigned emergency sub. She has yet to sub a single Orchard certificated opening. Coaches and specialists covering unfilled sub jobs resulted in the following estimated cost to the district. For full day coverage of certificated positions, $633.15. For half-day coverage of certificated positions, $443.24. Compensation for loss of planning time, $2,400. The total cost of covering unfilled teacher absences since the last board meeting is $3,466.39. Since Monday, September 11th, a cumulative total of 1,560 minutes of planning time and 1,560 minutes of specialist instruction was missed by Evergreen staff and students. Please hear, this is a true and valid concern. Please help us take the steps necessary to retain and attract substitute teachers to Evergreen Public Schools. Please do not undervalue the music, PE, and library programs or the support provided by your instructional coaches. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, next on the agenda is our board consent agenda. We'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve the board consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, superintendent consent agenda.
Move adoption of the superintendent's consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to presentation of 2023 Evergreen School District UTGO bond sale. Superintendent Boyd.
Yeah, and I'd like to introduce Mark Pressing, who supports us through the Educational Service District on all things bond. All things bonds.
Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Pleasure to be here. See if I can work the technology here. Great. Well, President Bocanegra, members of the board, Superintendent Boyd, it is always a pleasure to be at Evergreen Public Schools at board meetings. Let me see, I'm not getting the slides going here. I don't think. Let me try again. I can kind of wing it if I need to, too. I'm here to talk about the sale of the upcoming remaining portion of the 2018 bond authorization. This would be the final sale of that authorization for $35 million in proceeds.
Hard to believe we're at the end.
I know I was thinking, while we were talking before the meeting here, we started planning for this in 2015, 16, then to go through here we are in 2023, the final sale will be in 2024. So I want to talk about what is going on in the bond market and also our goals for this sale and what the next steps are for you and the board and for us and working with the administrative team and talk about the tax rates. So, as we all know, interest rates have been rising, if you listen to the news. And the good news is we built a cushion into the interest rates that we assumed when we were planning the bond issue, and we're probably about where we were thinking they would be now, so it's not a problem to sell the bonds at higher interest rates than they were. Plus, the majority of the bond authorization has been sold. This is a much smaller piece. So we're well below the total interest costs that voters were told to expect. So it's still a good time to be selling bonds. You can see while rates have risen relative to history, we're still relatively low. There's a lot of volatility, as you can imagine, in the market with all the world events. So we want to make sure that we're conservative and we're flexible as we move forward. And that's kind of reflected in how we're selling these bonds. When voters were told what to expect upon approval of the bond measure, that we told the tax rate for the bonds would be $1.77 per thousand. We're now about $1.48, so we're lower than what voters were told to expect. We're going to lock the interest rates in for the remainder of the bond measure. And we're also going to look at the debt service fund. As you may recall, as part of this authorization sale, normally we set the budget for the debt service fund in the spring, and you approve that through your normal process. And then we look at it again in the fall and say, okay, is that really the right number? And we're thinking now we want to increase that amount based on what we think the debt service will be on these bonds and other goals, and provide some flexibility for future funding. So that is something I'll talk about just a little bit more as well. We're going to look at the district's credit rating with Moody's Investor Service and participate in the school bond guarantee program. By doing that, you receive the state's credit rating of AAA, which helps your interest rates. And also, when I mentioned the flexibility in how we're moving forward, we're going to do a negotiated sale again like we did last time with Piper Sandler and D.A. Davidson, the two local underwriting firms, so that we have the ability to fine-tune your sale parameters and move things if we need to, if there is some volatility in the market. The main thing we want to do, along with providing the funds for the construction, is to see how we structure these bond payments, if we can help your future funding measures for operations, maybe technology, capital, or future bonds down the road. And we've been able to do that because of a couple of things. From our planning being conservative, assessed value has grown more rapidly than we were projecting because we tried to be conservative on that. Interest rates are lower than we had projected, so that's really worked well. All of these things have combined to have rates that are lower than what voters were told to expect, and also to provide a little bit of a step down in 2026 in your total tax rates for any additional funding for a 2025 election. That'll be when you have your next operating and technology election. So provide some flexibility there. Where we are today, we're talking about the bond sale plans. Again, this is your opportunity to ask questions. My goal is to make sure you understand what we're doing. We've been through this before quite a bit, but I want to make sure that if you have questions that I'm answering those. The next meeting on October 24th is when you would be considering the bond resolution, which authorizes the district to move forward with the bond sale and delegates the superintendent and chief financial officer, Jennifer Jacobson, to finalize the terms and conditions of those bonds. If we can meet certain parameters within that resolution as far as timing, interest rates, and other goals. Then the next part would be in November, recertifying the debt service fund levy. We've been working with your bond counsel to produce a resolution you'll see that changes that amount of the debt service fund levy for the 2024 tax year. Then we'll have a call with Moody's Investor Service, and we're moving towards a bond sale January 17th. Kind of get out of the way of the holidays and make sure that all the investors are back in the office and they know how to remember what their password is for their laptop, and then receive the money. The district received the money on February 6th, and we're coordinating with the county on that as well for the investment of the proceeds. So fairly straightforward, but all of these transactions are complicated, big transaction. We have a great team on board with the underwriting team, your bond counsel, Pacific Law Group, and Faith Pettis, and so this should, I believe, march forward in good order.
Do we have questions? Oh. Do you have a question, Rob? Anything?
This is a trick question.
Uh-oh, okay.
Well, it's a question I know you don't have a solid answer for, but what is your sense of the trajectory for interest rates for these bonds in the next coming months?
Well, last week I would have had a different answer than this week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know that part.
Last week, we were thinking things would keep moving up, but they've been stabilizing a little bit. We always say the bond market likes bad news. People have a flight to safety, and your rates kind of follow the U.S. Treasury interest rates. because investors could do one or the other. And interest rates are lower today based on results and based on all the impact of the Middle East and Israel and what's going on there. Investors are kind of flying to the U.S. Treasury securities, so that'll actually help you with lower interest rates. I think they're still concerned about inflation. I think the Federal Reserve is kind of going to hold pat for a little while longer, but I think things will stabilize and hopefully, kind of then start ticking down in the next year or so. But as far as for this sale, I think, again, we're building a cushion into what we're projecting for the rates, assuming things will be higher in January than they are right now. If that doesn't happen, we'll be in really good shape.
Okay.
That's what I always think of too when you wait. 3 months feels like a lot could happen with the market and the rates.
It can, and it can go up and it can go down. So it's really hard to predict what it's going to do. Again, we've seen a nice drop down in interest rates. If we were here last week, we would have rather been in. It's hard to time the market. So the best that we can do is to provide that flexibility in the sale. And if we see something happen that makes investors shy away and get out of the market, well, we might not want to sell on that day. We might want to go and wait until things settle down a little bit, and we have the flexibility to do that.
We've done pretty well with interest rates for the previous 4 bond sales.
Yes.
Better than you projected?
Better than we used for the original projections, yes. We try to be conservative on that, so we can make sure that when you tell the voters what to expect, that we can achieve that goal. And as you do that over a 7-year period of time, things have changed a lot in the last 7 years. So yeah, I think we're in really good shape to achieve all of those goals.
Thank you for providing the charts that show the tax rates. That's something that was in a little bit of controversy with people worrying about the rising property values, but to see the rates go down as the values go up is something that the public is interested in knowing. So this will help us explain things. Thank you.
Good. Again, it's really been it's a pleasure working with the district, so we'll continue our work together going forward.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next is Superintendent Report. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Superintendent Boyd for an update.
Thank you. Well, I'll start at just a few little updates here. We've been in our senior leadership team working on the change process related to our strategic planning initiative. So we are working hard as a leadership team to figure out how to work cooperatively together across disciplines to implement well our strategic plan. And I'm excited about that work with our team. They're responding well to it. I'm also excited to welcome our new administrators, and particularly Dr. Kimberly Anderson. Had a chance to spend the full day with her today, on and off, and she just brings tremendous energy and value to our team. And she's actually doesn't officially start until Monday, and doing a mid-year transition is tough, but she's going to be phenomenal, and we're excited to have her aboard. I met today with Principal Schoonover related to the Student Advisory Council. So far, we have 11 students that have signed up for it. So Principal Schoonover is going to, reach it back out to the principals to see if we can drum up a little bit more interest. So if we can all do that, if you know students, tap them on the shoulder, tell them to apply. So that's exciting. We have, for our Evergreen Community Advisory Team, we have 114 people in the community that are interested in serving on that committee. So it's a good problem to have. And I met with Dr. Anderson and Heather today, who's been helping me figure out how to move forward with this advisory team. And we're trying to figure out a way to make sure that we can involve everybody in one way, shape, or form that's expressed interest. So we're excited to do that, put a little team together to do a selection process, and then we have already selected our first date for that, and so that'll be excited. We'll love to have a couple of board members sit on that, and you can work through Julie to decide how you want to do that and who wants to sit on that. If you want to rotate through or have standing people do it, totally open to having a couple of board members participate and listen in and be part of that group. And the whole purpose is to on both of our student side and our community advisory team side, is to elevate the voices of our community and make sure that our community feels like they have input into decisions we're going to make. We have some tough decisions coming up that we're going to want input, and then also to serve as a two-way communication vehicle from our community back into our district. So we're excited to embark in that. For board members, if you're interested in attending a Boys and Girls fundraiser on the 26th of October, let me know. If more than more than two board members wants to do that, we can feature it. It's a free event. Of course, they want you to, bring your checkbook and support the Boys and Girls Club, which they do phenomenal work for our district. So we want to support them to the extent that we can, and that's my report for the day.
Could you repeat the date for that fundraiser?
It's the 26th of October. It's a luncheon.
John, and you're serving on, are you serving on the board on that?
I am on the board, yeah.
Okay.
So part of my job is to fill tables.
Perfect, thank you. All right, next up is monitoring district operations. This is operational expectation OE2, emergency superintendent succession. I believe that we have an update. So we've received the revisions for operational expectation OE2, emergency superintendent succession. It was in our packet. Looks like we have it up on the board. And at this time, I'm going to call on the superintendent to give us a summary of the revisions.
Yeah, so we've hired a new deputy superintendent. In the event that I'm out of cell phone coverage or indisposed, she would take on that responsibility. And so I sat down, Lori and I sat down with Dr. Armstrong, and we kind of went through board culture, board relations, operational expectations and results, and then so she understands, is prepared to take over in the case of an emergency.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll call for a motion.
I move the board accepts the revisions for OE2, emergency superintendent succession as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll go ahead and open it up to the board for questions or comments.
No questions for me.
I'm glad to see that we are taking another look at this and stuff. We've had a lot of changes and reorganization, so it's nice to get back into the groove on this. And it's important we always know who's in charge if you're not here or not in charge.
Yeah, and I think John's been pretty good too when he lets us know if he has a meeting out of town or something, when he lets us know like what the plan is moving forward. All right, any other questions or comments from the board? All right, then we will go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Perfect, thank you. All right, next we'll go ahead and move on to board comments. This is any comments by the school board. Anybody want to start us off? Victoria, you said you had a couple of things.
I do. The first being, I was a part of a creation of a comprehensive school counseling program that aligns with the American School Counselor Association, ASCA national model. And I worked with Burton on their plan. This is the work right here. It's pretty comprehensive. I brought it so that if anybody here wants to take a look at it. They are applying to have their results reviewed for recognition. So we should know something about that in a few months. I would really like to recommend that we have them back. We saw the Burton counselors here, gosh, it's been, I think, almost 2 years ago, talking about things that were going on with the counseling department at their school. And now that they've put this together, it's really a neat package of information, and the research that they've done with their students and families is pretty amazing. So I just would like to recommend that we have them come back once they hear about their submission, and hopefully they'll be getting an award. But in any case, I'd love for you to have more detailed information from them about this. So I have this here if any of you want to look at it. I haven't looked at it all yet, but it's interesting. I was getting the data periodically as we were meeting as a team, because the team had, of course, the two counselors, parents, teachers, the principal. So it was a nice comprehensive group that worked on this project.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to have them come back and share with us.
Yeah. They had some real insights.
When will we find out if they win the award?
It's in a few months. I think it's like maybe in February.
May I see it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, I just wanted to report back on that. I had to sign off on it Monday so that they could submit it. And it was exciting to finally, you know, after all the work they've put in and everything they've been learning. They have an interesting group of students there, and so it was interesting. It was very interesting. And then, of course, you know, during the workshop, we need to do our itemizations.
Legislative prioritization? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
I thought I had something else, but now it went
Well,
right.
we can always come back to you.
Yeah.
Rob?
Very little for me. I've got the alignment work ready for us to look over for a workshop. And I really appreciate the last minute help that I got from Lori Stroll on getting it into a format that I could use. The strategic plan document is very attractive, but it wasn't machine readable quite as much as I wanted it to be, so she got me the text. And I've long appreciated that support. Thank you, Lori. I am attending the OSPI Online Learning Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow. It's a Zoom meeting. It's online. As part of a WASA appointment. And be talking about and advising on policy changes or practice changes at OSPI with respect to online learning. And I'll have a report back for WASDA if there's anything for that, but also share with this board. And that's all.
Anything? I guess I would just want to remind everybody to make sure that they have voted for WASDA elections, if you get a chance. It was all electronic again this year. And it's also the state board education and the other, the WASDA board officers and then all the local positions. And then just a reminder too, that I can't believe it's October already because next month we'll be going to conference, which is just right around the corner, so.
Yeah, I think it's on our workshop to discuss
Calendars and.
calendar and the conference.
All right, well, with that, let's move on to future agenda items. Did you think of the other thing you wanted to say?
No.
All right, future agenda items, anything?
Nope. Just the hearing from them on this.
I would be open to that. I think that would be great to have them back. All right, what, did you have something?
Nope,
No?
you're here.
Okay. All right, so how about a student board representative report? I know that Sullivan's going to join us at conference next month, so that's exciting.
I'm so excited to join you guys at the conference next month. Good evening, everyone. Since our last board meeting, we sent out the application for the Student Board Advisory Committee, and we've received some great applications, and I want to reiterate that we are looking for juniors and seniors who are interested in student voice opportunities to apply. Yesterday marked the first day of our 5th week in school, and I'd like to acknowledge that these few weeks of school can actually be pretty rough. The homework is really starting to flow in pretty consistently, and the rain is starting, the weather's getting kind of cruddy, and it can just be really difficult as a student and a teacher and a parent, anyone really at this time of year. And I just want to let you know that if anyone is struggling, that we have a lot of support in our schools. And that is it for my update this meeting.
Thank you. That is so important to remind people that there is a lot of support out there, especially this early darkness, right? Yeah, it's a thing. All right, thank you, Sullivan. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and recess the meeting. We're going to sign paperwork, and then we're going to reconvene in a board workshop where we will have legislative priorities and update, strategic plan alignment, and then a calendar review. Thank you for joining us this evening.